Hello, my name is Marcus Klein, and welcome back to Word on the Street Volume 3. In this episode, we will be exploring performativity, and this was taken from Unit 3, Identity and Culture. Performativity produces a series of effects, in the right circumstances, of course. Performativity is the power of language to affect change in the world. Language does not simply describe the world, but may instead function as a form of social action. Now, I want you to keep that in mind as you watch the clip I'm going to show you from an episode of Friends. And in this episode, Monica and Chandler are getting married, and at their ceremony, they do exchange some words that I want you to pay attention to. Words such as "I love you" and "I do" mainly. Keep in mind, it isn't just the words they say, it's also the situation in which they're in socially. And it's constructed by the formalization of a marriage and a wedding in particular. There's an altar, there's a bridesmaid, there are groomsmen, and there is an ordained priest or minister or even rabbi. That said, the words of "I do" and the general location of it being at a ceremony is what gives it its performative power.
With our future before us. And I only want to spend it with you. My prince, my soulmate, my friend. Unless you don't want to. You go.
Chandler? That's okay. Monica, I thought this was going to be the most difficult thing I ever had to do. But when I saw you walking down that aisle, I realized how simple it was. I love you. Any surprises that come our way, it's okay because I will always love you. You are the person I was meant to spend the rest of my life with. You want to know if I'm sure?
You may now kiss the bride. So, I guess by the powers vested in me by the state of New York and the internet guys, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Oh, wait. Do you take each other?
I do.
I do.
Yeah, you do. Rings? Oh, crap. Okay.
So after watching that small clip, I'm sure you noticed that both Monica and Chandler exchange "I do's," and in this given situation, the performative utterance is the "I do," and performative utterance in itself creates relation or events in the world. When you get married, both parties must say "I do." This creates meaning and signifies the marriage ceremony in a verbal form. To dig a little deeper in understanding performative utterance, there are three components which are considered to make it performative again. So first is locution, which is the actual utterance. So in our case, it's going to be saying "I do." Number two is going to be illocution, which is the intended effect of the utterance. So the intended effect of saying "I do" is getting married, building love, spending the rest of your life with someone, making a promise to that person, and overall just endowing them that you care about them and you essentially want to be with them until you die. Perlocution, which is the third and final component, is going to be the effect of the listener or the society. So you are lawfully wedded, which is said by the rabbi or priest or minister. Them saying that is a social response from the initial "I do." The newlyweds are now legally married, and the only way to change that is to take legal action to reverse the marriage. In order for an utterance to be performative, as I said earlier, it must link up with social context and socially sanctioned identities. So it must be said in context that, in this case, has to be a wedding or ceremony. And it must have certain characteristics of a wedding. Again, if I were to say I do to a random person on a subway or in class or at work, it would not have the same meaning by any means as saying it to my fiance, hypothetically, of 5 years while, at the altar surrounded by my friends and family, with a priest, groomsmen, and bridesmaids. After watching this video, you have a better understanding of performativity and how it works, as well as the references you can now make in the future, in understanding, performative utterances in your own life. Thanks.